it works. When you choose to live in the reality where it's already happened, where you already have the money, where the thing that you want is already successful, when you choose to think and operate from that reality, it makes that reality happen! Oh my god! That is what manifesting is. It's not, obviously manifesting, there's no right or wrong way, but you don't just need to journal stuff. You don't just need to do these affirmations. It's literally pretending as if it's already happened. And here's the thing. Here's why it's not even delusional, because people say it's delusional, and I agree it's delusional, but why it's not is because time doesn't exist. We're experiencing time as a past, present, and future. All of time.
Where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic. While the other guy's sleeping, I'm working. While the other guy's eating, I'm working.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're tapping in here for the first, second, or third time, just want to say I truly appreciate you. And this channel exists to help young men and women find purpose, grounding, and direction in God. And without wasting time, let's get into it. So today's topic is on manifestation. Again, this is one of those things that when I was going through college, I got introduced to, just like a whole lot of things that I got introduced to when I was a young person. And I, like most people, on the surface, I looked at it and I'm like, whoa, this is the most amazing thing in the world, because it's telling me that I can definitely do anything I want. I can have anything I want. And obviously I was drawn to this. But then as I grew as a Christian, starting to understand some of the things that strongly contradict, actually realizing the origin of what manifestation is. If you don't know what manifestation is the belief that people can shape their own reality using words, using vibrations, using speech alone. So it actually stems from wanting to be the God of your own world. Here's a couple of things that core differences. Manifestation will say things like the universe will align for you. Your thoughts create your reality. You are the creator of your own destiny. And Christianity, on the contrary, teaches that God is sovereign. Christianity says it's not about what you want, actually, because you are not God. It's about God, the creator. You are the creation, and he's the one that dictates. He's sovereign. It's his will that we seek. Humans are not meant to be independent. We're supposed to be dependent on God, not ultimate. We're supposed to be dependent on God. And manifestation teaches you to be your own God, the one who dictates how everything goes. And actually, if you look at it, like the moment we are operating independent of God, we are saying, it's okay, God, you're not my God anymore. I'm my own God, and I'm going to take the will, and I'm going to dictate how things go. And life should be about God's purpose, not just like self-exaltation. And manifestation is more about I, and what I want, like what my desire, I want to be great, it's all about focus on like exalting the self, and a lot of people confuse a lot of things about Christianity. Like, for instance, some people will say prayer is a manifestation. They'll say, no, prayer, you're saying words and you are asking the universe. I'm like, those are completely two different things. True prayer is in surrender to God. Besides it being like a conversation of building a relationship, it's surrendering to God. It's actually, Lord, I would like this, but if your will, not my will at the end of the day. It's like picture okay, let me not jump. I'll get to the point that I wanted to make. But then before I get to that, I want to say I understand why some of the reasons why people are drawn to manifestation. The reason why most people are drawn to manifestation is because people we don't like to feel powerless. in a world so big, we want to feel like, I've got things under control. Like I can just, I can dictate, I can control, I can protect, we don't like to feel powerless. And manifestation gives an illusion of like you are powerful. You can create, you can be God, you can be thing like no, you cannot. And people, it's funny because people use verses from the Bible. Like people love to go to, like verses like Mark 11:24, where Jesus says, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. And we will ignore the verse prior to that in Mark 11:22, where he says, have faith in God, meaning the secret ingredient is not you, it's not your words, it's nothing, it's actually faith in God. The secret ingredient is God. Well, manifestation is telling you, forget about God, we can do this on our own. We can have it all and we won't need to be accountable to God. We don't need to answer to nobody. As long as we can create the desires of our flesh and then go and get everything we want. That's what manifestation teaches, So everybody on the surface, like, it looks so great, because we want hope, but then we don't want to wait at the same time. We want healing, and we don't want to ever feel the pain. It's no longer just like we want healing. We don't want to ever feel pain ever again. So on the surface, it looks like, why wouldn't anyone not want it? We want success. We want certainty in an uncertain world. We live in a world where anything can happen. You could catch a cold. You could get hit by a car as you go out. COVID could hit out of nowhere. So there's so much uncertainty, and we seek to say, I want to know exactly how my life is going to be. I want to know. We're so obsessed with like the idea of knowing exactly how life is going to pan out. And do you know what that takes out? Who it takes out? It takes out God. Again, that total certainty that we want, it's saying, I don't want to have to trust you, God. I don't want to have to rely on you, God. I want to have to rely on myself. I want to know that on Thursday, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Again, it's teaching. So already the origins and the teachers of manifestation, all they're doing is, we don't need God. They're teaching you everything that the devil wants you to know. If you notice, like, it's definitely stemming from the pride that created everything. Like with the devil's like, I don't want to submit to God, and he wants to be God himself. He wants to be above God. That's where it's stemming from, and he's just like sharing it with the rest of humanity. Like, yeah, we don't need God. We can do this. We can do bad all by ourselves. That's basically like this, what manifestation is like teaching. Like, you can be the architect of your own future, and there is some dangers that we ignore a lot when it comes to this topic. Like, a lot of dangers, a lot of red flags, if we're using the Gen Z lingo. It's like manifestation says we can replace God with self, right? It says, not your will, God, but my will. Remember, your will be done. Manifestation, no. Let my will. Think about it like a father walks into is in a mall, and he's holding his child's hand, and the child sees a candy store. There's two things that are obvious. The father knows that this child wants candy, and he knows this kid would love to have all the candy in the store. And the kid also, think of the mind of a child. The child thinks, those sweets are good, they're nice. I want to eat all of them, right? And the father will probably say something like, okay, you can have one. Or he'll probably say something like, you shouldn't have any sweets because we're about to go have dinner. Or maybe, like, you've been having a lot of sweets actually. And the child can respond in like, but why wouldn't you want me to think? I've got my own savings if you don't want me. Manifestation. I can get the sweets for myself. But it's like, if God is the one who created the stars, the moon, and everything that is great, your mind, my mind, everything that is in the world, I would assume that he knows better. I would assume that when I feel like something is so good for me because it looks so nice. Sweets are good to a child's mind. They look so good. They're nice and they're amazing. And I'm like, in that moment, I would never think, a sweet is bad for me. But then you know what? He knows better. If we look at that picture in the earthly way, in the physical form, we'll look at it and it's like, he's had more experience. Maybe that father has had sweets and he knows like, hey, those sweets are going to give you, like, if you eat all 10 sweets, 20, they're going to give you a stomach ache. On the spiritual side, we'll look at it and like, God is the beginning and the end. He's the Alpha and Omega. If he says, maybe this is not good for you now, no matter how good you might think, because that's the defense we give. That is the pushback people give when, they're pushing back against God. It's like, why would a good God deprive us of something that is good? Like health is something that is good, or like success is something that is good. These things that look good on things, and we need them, right? We want them. But he might, in that moment, think maybe you're not supposed to have it. And he's the father. He knows better. Again, same analogy of like a child. The father knows better. Maybe he has something else better than you. Maybe there's a reason he doesn't want you to have this pleasure of having this sweet right now as much as you might want it. And that's one of the dangers of manifestation, because it's saying my will. It's trying to get you to do something outside of God's will. And another thing is, it can create a great delusion of like, which can cause people to like fall into like depression even, Imagine being told that a woman who's in a relationship with an abusive person, imagine telling that person that you are where you are because you manifested that. Imagine how that makes that lady feel. Like, oh, what do you mean? Like, yeah, he's beating you because you created this. You attracted him. Think about how that translates in someone's mind, because what we're basically doing is we excusing the evil in the world. We excusing the devil, because once we do that, we again excuse the work that Jesus came to do. Jesus came to save the world from sin, from all these evil. But when we say no, there's nothing wrong out there. It's just my doing. I just need to change my way of thinking for my husband to stop beating me. Like, we basically condemning this woman to like just die in the sin and to just welcome the sin in the world and never see the need for Jesus in the world. But actually the truth is, the world needs Jesus. That husband definitely needs Jesus. But because things like manifestation are protecting the evil in the world by saying every bad thing that's happening to you is your fault. You are creating. No, if the lingo is not, it's your fault. It's like, it's your doing. You are the creator. So, you can change this anytime. Like, actually, no. You cannot stop some of the evil that is in the world because you're not God. You actually cannot. You could try to focus your mind however you want. And that's the crazy thing about manifestation. Like, nobody ever talks about its limits. Like, no matter how good of a manifesting whatever guru you are, you're eventually going to die. You're not always going to have sunny days where you're having things going your way. And we don't realize this because it was never our doing anyway. The things that you think, all the good things in my life are all the things that I attracted. No, God was being gracious. All the bad things that are happening into my life is because I attracted it. No, there's evil in the world. And God hates that evil too. And you know what? He does have a plan to eradicate that. But we're not willing to bow to his will to find out what that plan is. So we keep on actually meddling in the way of his plan, and we're causing more pain in our lives and other people's lives because we don't want to submit to his will. We keep fighting against his will, against his plan, and manifestation greatly confuses faith with self-belief. Everything becomes trust in yourself. And people will quote scriptures when Jesus keeps saying, your faith has healed you. And be like, you see, he's saying it's all about, no, he's saying faith in what? faith in him, your faith in God. Like the woman that gets healed and touches the hem, people like say, oh, he said her faith. I'm like, yeah, but what did she do with that faith? Where did she place it? She said, if I can touch the hem of Jesus' clothing, not just if I can just have faith and I can create my own reality and then I'm healed. No, she had faith in the power of Jesus, faith in Jesus. The secret ingredient is always Jesus. But then, of course, manifestation wants to take that out. Manifestation wants to isolate you and make you think you're this false, you're this God. Wants to make an idol of you. Once that happens, the devil's got you. You are done for. You will realize that you are not God, So Christianity, at the same time, I'm not saying it's against. The Bible does teach us to, be mindful of our words and to think good thoughts, think words that are true. But it's not saying in the context of like, because you're creating your world. It's talking of like, be mindful of words. Say good things that build others. Say good things to others, like your words, yes, they're powerful, but in the context of like, you could encourage someone or you could discourage someone. You could make someone feel like that, like your words are important in that context, not in like you are going to change it, whatever. Not that you're supposed to go and change things. No, you're supposed to trust in God and abide with what he says, not to God. Same thing, So the context of how the Bible uses these things is very important. We shouldn't just take these things and then just form our own doctrines. Christianity never teaches that humans are sovereign creators equal to God. That is not the case. We are not equal to God, but Bible encourages renewing your mind, speaking truth, and living in faith, Because manifestation is about control, Christianity is about surrender. It's about surrendering your will and saying, God, let your will be done. Not mine, but your will. You direct my life, Lord. Because that's the humility of a child to a father, to the one who created you, to the one who breathes you. That's worship. But when you try to take control of like even things that you feel like, that you might feel like are bad for you, it's like, he's the Father, he knows better. And his promises are faithful. He says, it'll all be worth it. It'll definitely, just trust me and it'll all be worth it. And in conclusion, my ending will be just to say, the Christian life is not about manifesting our own kingdoms. Life shouldn't be about manifesting our own kingdoms in our own worlds, but actually in participating in the beautiful kingdom of God, the kingdom that already exists. Instead of, I'm my own God, I'll submit to actually the true God, the one who knows. I'm my own Father. You're not. You were created. Submit to the one who created you, because he's the one who knows better. He's the Alpha and Omega. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I have a surprise for you guys. I have a special guest coming, and it's amazing how God works, because it hasn't been long since my podcast has started, and yet God's opened this door. And if you guys would like for more people to hear some of the stuff we talk about, please like, share, and subscribe so that more people get to see this content before that guest comes on, because I want to make sure that as many people get to see him. It's going to be a great surprise. I'm not going to reveal it yet, but please tap in and share so that once that guest comes on, we have a couple more people that are watching. So with that being said, outspoken.